Welcome to Mid-State Money Talk. My name is Cynthia DiFazio, joined today by Kevin Deitrich and Joe Deitrich, partners at First Choice Financial Services, Incorporated. And to our viewers at home, thank you for being with us in Central Pennsylvania. Today's show is all about pearls of wisdom. And think about this for just a moment. You're walking along the beach and you find an oyster and you open it up and inside is a pearl. Well, think about how that got there. It takes years and years of layers that build amongst these pearls, or amongst the oysters, if you will, to become this beautiful pearl. So we're going to talk a lot about people who are over the age of 80 and some of the wisdom that they've gained through the years. These pearls of wisdom, they want to share with you. And if you're not in the 80s right now, but you're younger, this show is specifically for you. It's all about learning, and it's pearls of wisdom. So thank you for being with us. Joe, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Today's a good day for treasure hunting.
It's a great day for treasure hunting. And Kevin, how are you?
I'm fantastic. I like treasure.
I do too. And you know what's fascinating to me is that, I don't know, we can talk about this a little bit, but pearls actually formed inside of the oyster start with just a granule of sand. I was going to say salt, but we know that's not true. And basically, over time, that irritant forms the pearl. And so it's amazing to me. I love that we're doing this today on today's show, talking a little bit about pearls of wisdom that older people can share with younger viewers in the audience. One of the things that I know that you talk about, the number one pearl that people want to share, would be the precious treasure of time, if you will. Talk a little bit about that. Why does that become someone's number one treasure that they would like to share with the viewers at home? Having time.
Yeah.
That's...
Whether you're 80 or 40 or 50, time is your most precious asset. And we probably don't think about that. We think about how much is in our 401k, in our bank accounts. We think of how big our house is or how nice of a car. But your most precious asset is time. And I think what we're finding is a reflection of people that are 80 or older. They're looking back and they're realizing that with a lot of clarity. You know, time is our most precious asset. And so now we start thinking about what it was, the things that held us back from doing the things that we wanted to do or on our bucket list while we had the time, while we had the health and the time to do those things.
I wrote something down I want to share with you guys.
Please.
It says, a common realization is that decades spent postponing meaningful experiences cannot be reclaimed later.
Wow.
It's so important. And people, I think if I was talking to someone that's in their 80s, I would say, what's the most important thing that you can give me as far as some guidance? And that is just spending time with people that you love. Spending time doing those things you want to, we always think, I'll just do it later. I'll go on that trip later.
Yes.
I'll go to see this person later. I'll go do this particular trip later. I'll go to Italy later.
Yes.
When does later ever come?
It's true.
You know, and a lot of folks, people that get it come in and see us and say, you know what, I want my money to last, but I want to use most of it like the next 5 years. And they want to do some traveling. They have dreams they want to accomplish, and goals they want to do. So it's so important that time, we're not guaranteed tomorrow.
That's true. That is very, very true. So take advantage of today. That pearl of wisdom is just wonderful. And then I want to ask you, Joe, so when people say that they had the time, the freedom, if you will, what have they enjoyed most? I would assume like not having rushed mornings, like being able to really enjoy your coffee or spend extra time with your devotionals. Would that be something that you're finding to be true?
Absolutely. You know, it's great to go on vacation. It's great to go to Italy. It's great to have those highlight moments in our lives, but that's not really day in and day out. How much time do we spend on the highlights versus the real life? And so the unhurried mornings, the time with loved ones, the ability to watch the grandkid for a while or spend some time with family or, have, for example, so I recently met with one of our clients and she's 95 years old.
Okay.
Now, her daughter, who's also a client, comes to the appointments with her and we get to chat and she's been with us for 20 plus years, okay? And the last time we were in, we just started chatting about how we met and what she's been doing. When her and her husband retired, he liked to play golf. She never played golf in her life, And so she decided in order to spend time with him, she was going to learn how to play golf.
Okay.
Well, fast forward, he predeceased her by many, many years. And so, but that was something that she continued on. And she had girlfriends that she played golf with. They'd go down to Myrtle Beach and play golf. And she had, this wonderfully rich retirement life for something that she made the decision for the right reasons. I want to spend the time with the people that I care about the most.
Yes.
And this hobby was just something that allowed that to facilitate that.
Oh, I love that.
That's the success stories that we love to hear. And the reason that we do the planning is we're focusing on structuring your retirement towards what your goals are and your objectives are.
Yeah, we're talking about pearls of wisdom for people that have
Yes.
experience. Well, First Choice Financial Services has over 40 years of experience.
Yes.
So we definitely have seen it from the start to finish. We do this show. We ask for you to come in and see us, pick up the phone, click the QR code, all that stuff to try to get you in the door for us to help you.
Yes.
But we see it from the other standpoint too. We do reviews with these clients every year, and we see them when they're 80. We see them when they're 85, when they're 95, and they give us these pearls of wisdom, and they are so so thankful for what we've done for them, and it's so beneficial for us, and so joyous for us to see that they're actually truly living out their plan. They're living out their happy retirement, their stress-free retirement. It's so gratifying for us.
Most definitely. And I know that everyone has a different perspective on how they want to spend their retirement years. And going back to that first pearl, Joe, if I could ask you, why is it that some people only discover this pearl needing time after they retire? Talk about why that keeps coming up.
Yeah, and we think after the retirement, this realization doesn't usually happen in the first month, 6 months or a year. This is usually years later that they realize, boy, I really wish I would have done that a little different. There's a lot of reasons. I think, we get so focused on our career, the social pressures, or really what I think I find the most is people, there's a bit of apprehension or fear. I just don't know any different. The rhythm of life that I'm used to of working and then all of a sudden not having an income, what am I going to do with my time? All of these things, it's almost a little bit fear-based as to why we're not taking that step a little bit earlier. But what's really crazy is all of that can be eliminated by being able to just come in, sit down, and start the planning process. Having a customized retirement plan for your lifestyle and your goals is the first step to eliminating all of those barriers. And so, if you call the number on the screen, use the QR code, be able to get in touch with us sometime on our calendar. We would love to walk through that process with you. The phone number is 888-959-2743. Please give us a call.
Most definitely, Joe. Thank you. And Kevin, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Opportunity is yours. Viewers at home, the number to call in is 888-959-2743. What we're talking about today is pearls of wisdom. Looking back, different retirees have different perspectives on what they wish they did differently. Well, this guidance and this advice is yours for the taking. The first step, of course, is to book that consultation. Let the advisors get to know you at First Choice Financial Services Incorporated one-on-one. Your goals, your dreams, your hopes, and your wishes for retirement so that you can have your own pearls of wisdom to pass along to future generations. Number again is 888-959-2743, or just grab your smartphone and open up the camera app. Click on the QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. You can schedule your time accordingly. When we come back, we're going to do a deep dive into more pearls of wisdom. Stay tuned.
It's affecting everybody. Your wallet just doesn't seem to carry enough cash. And so for those who are living paycheck to paycheck, it's gotten so bad where they've had to buy their groceries on credit cards. And so we talk about inflation, and we talk about it as we build it into their plan. We want to make sure that we plan and provide money that they can add to their budget 5 years, 10 years, 15 years out. And it's there to offset the additional costs. And it's really tough when inflation is really out of control. When the government starts increasing the taxes, they start put different surcharges on things. Banks have to make different decisions. Are they paying out more interest? Are they paying out less interest? The big things that we spend our money on, grocery stores, fuel for your gas tank. Who ever thought it would cost $75 to fill a tank of gas? When it used to be $19, $20, $25. That's a huge impact on people. When inflation hits, I just say there's two types of inflation, because you have the inflation that they talk about on TV. Oh, it's 3% this year, it's 5% this year. Well, when gas goes from $2 to $3 a gallon, that's not 5%. When someone's buying meat for their table and it goes from $3.50 a pound to $7.50 a pound, that's not 5%. And so we have to deal with it from a realistic point of view. So if inflation is impacting what you're doing and you don't have an answer for it, give us a call.
Welcome back to Mid-State Money Talk. My name is Cynthia DiFazio, joined today by Kevin Deitrich and Joe Deitrich, partners at First Choice Financial Services Incorporated. And if you're just joining us today for the first time, we're talking about pearls of wisdom. And these pearls of wisdom actually came from people that are in their 80s looking back. And so these are great tips for you moving forward in your retirement journey. So thank you for being with us. The second thing that people talked about a lot, gentlemen, was the fact that saving was not the same as planning. So accumulating all that wealth, a lot of people in their 80s felt that they could have done a better job at strategically planning to make sure that their retirement years was exactly what they wanted it to be. So gentlemen, why do you think that is the case, if you will? What financial pearls of wisdom do retirees often share when looking back from their 80s? Why planning was so much more important, if you will, Kevin, versus then just saving, just adding to that savings account every week?
I think because life happens, and we get so busy, with our families, with our jobs, with our lifestyles that we have, that it comes out off the paycheck into the 401k.
Yeah.
We don't miss it, and it just builds up, and there's no planning involved. There's just contribution and the accumulation. And so, but then there's 5, 10 years, 2 years from retirement, or they're going to we get phone calls all the time. I'm sick, I want to retire next month, so I want to come in and see you. Yeah. Well, we can still help them, but I mean, there's some things that they probably should have been doing 5 years ago, 10 years ago, early on. Maybe increasing their contribution.
Yeah.
Maybe changing where the money's actually invested inside the 401k. Instead of having a retirement target date fund, have it actually invested in something that's going to be able to give them some sustainable growth and take advantage of the upswings of the market. So those are all things that they could be doing that's a little bit different than just putting money into the 401k and forgetting about it.
Yes.
How many times have we heard when we say, what's in your 401k? I don't know what's in there. How can you not know what's in your 401k when that is your main source of sometimes
Your nest egg.
Well, they say, there's this
Yeah.
much money in it. Yeah, but what's it invested in? I don't know.
Exactly.
Put that in there 20 years ago, and I haven't changed it since.
Right.
Yeah.
How much you putting into it? I don't know, 3%.
Yep.
And they're 5 years away from retirement, and they're making $200,000 a year. So it's just, those things just don't add up.
Right.
That's not proper planning. And so retirees that have been with us for a while, they're in their 80s, they say, I wish I would have met you 10 years, 20 years before I retired.
Yes. Because again, we're talking about proper planning for retirement. And viewers at home, in case you're going to the mailbox and you're grabbing your statements, or perhaps they come in on your computer now, we're not talking about that. That's just a pool of money, if you will. We're talking about strategic planning so that you can have the retirement of your dreams. It's going to give you peace of mind, and I don't think we can talk about that enough each week on the show, because there is a difference between just grabbing a statement and having a true, proper plan. And so that pearl of wisdom is so important. And Joe, I should ask you, once retirees understand that their finances are in place, the peace of mind, how did that impact their overall retirement enjoyment, if you will, knowing that everything was going to be okay after they had a plan?
Yeah, after they had a plan, right?
Yes.
So we take the pile of stuff, the pile of statements, and then we start crafting that as part of the tools we use to create the retirement that you want. And creating sustainable income sources, understanding when, where, and how I start taking distributions out of my retirement accounts, or when do I take my Social Security statement. So these sustainable income plan is a very big part of that, turning things from savings to a retirement plan, right? And then once they've gotten all that in place, and they kind of bleed that stress, and now we got this sense of relief, and now we've got a little bit more freedom to spend, freedom to live. This is now where they get to start to enjoy, and the dreaming that we've encouraged them to do starts to become a reality. What hobbies, what people do I want to do? Where do I want to pursue my interests for the next 20 or 30 years? We hear a couple of things a lot, like, boy, I really wish I would have met you guys earlier.
Yes.
We hear that a lot. But I also hear this, you know what, I'm busier now in retirement than I was before.
I love that.
But, and the but's the important part, but I'm doing all of the things that I want to do. I love it. I get up and I'm energized, right?
Yes.
That's the things that we want to hear.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that only comes from having stress-free, knowing that, hey, I have money coming in to support my lifestyle.
Absolutely. So obviously, I have to ask a very important question. Why do people sometimes delay having a comprehensive retirement planning strategy in place? What is the reason that people kick the can down the road, so to speak?
I think biggest thing is just procrastination.
Okay.
People are, and it goes back to what I said earlier as far as their living, and they think, well, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. I'll do it a little bit later. When I'm closer to retirement, I'll do it. We get that a lot. People come to our workshops and they're like, 60 years of age, they want to retire when they're 67, okay? So they're 7 years away. So I'll just wait till I'm like 66.
Yeah.
We say, no, we recommend coming in now, being proactive, putting a plan in place now, and there's some things that you just don't know what you don't know.
That's true.
And so would you not want to get advice from someone that has experience, that has guided clients through into their 80s and 90s and never losing a dime?
Absolutely.
Okay? So those are things that you should take advantage of.
Yes.
Yeah, we hear that quite a bit. I'm 5 years away. It's too early, but I just really have this question. You have one question about one thing, and nothing happens in a vacuum, right? Our retirement plan is going to be all-encompassing. Your customized retirement plan isn't for tomorrow; it's for 5 years from now. If we can help you so that you have to start tomorrow, great. But if we've got 5 years to prepare, that's amazing, right? And that's where you want to be. So it's not too early. If you're in your late 50s and you've got time before your retirement, don't fall into the false sense of security that, I've got time. Back to the first pearl of wisdom, right?
Yes.
Time is our most precious asset. Use it. Take the time, sit down, give us a call, come in to the office so we can start talking and planning for the retirement that you dream of.
Most definitely. And do you feel sometimes that people think that it's too complex or too intimidating? Is that why they sometimes say, I'm not ready for this right now, I'm going to wait? Kevin, have you had that experience?
I think sometimes it's just overwhelming.
Yes.
So let me just share a little bit of what behind the scenes what we do. So when you call into the office, pick up the phone, click the QR. I'll show you how easy it is. Pick up your phone, you snap the QR code, and you touch or screen it, and then you just fill out the application, fill out the response form. We call you, and we're going to set up a meeting. We send you a first appointment packet. In that first appointment packet is a list of things to bring with you, a questionnaire to fill out. That could be overwhelming, but I encourage you, take the time. If you needed more time, call the office, say, hey, I'm not ready for this. Can we schedule maybe a week later? We have folks that do this all the time. It's important that you take the time, fill that questionnaire out completely. And people will say, they come in and say, I'm glad I filled that out because I didn't even know how much I was spending a month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so those are all things that I encourage you, look at your 401k statement. It'll show you, here's how much your benefit will be monthly when you retire. That's false. Because that's including Social Security, that's including what this potentially may grow to with the amount of contributions you're putting into. It doesn't take into factor how much you're spending, how much inflation is going to be, cost of living is going to be. Those are all factors that number isn't going to reflect. Some people rely on that number.
It's true. It's very true.
The 401k statement says, I'm going to make $3,000 a month. Well, that's including Social Security and the money that's in your 401k.
Wow. Okay.
Understanding the assumptions that go into that number is super, super important. Most people don't think about that. There's a number of assumptions that are going into, hey, you're 80% towards your goal.
Yeah.
Did you ever tell them what your goal was?
Wow.
Right? That was a preset goal that they've put in there. So there's a lot of assumptions in there. That is not
Yes.
a customized retirement plan.
No.
That is an estimator or a calculator that is generalized. It's not your plan, right?
Yep.
That's very, very, there's a big difference.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that because that can be confusing. We have people come in all the time. Well, here's my 401k says I want to be making this. Well, let me do the math for you.
Yeah.
And and did they include the budget? Do you have a budget? Do you know how much you spend a month? No, I have no idea how much I spend.
Yeah.
It just comes in and it goes back out again.
Wow. And all of this is so important.
Yeah. So whatever those hurdles may be, take the first step.
Yes.
And whether it's just starting to fill out that questionnaire, if you give us a call, we'll be able to provide you all of the resources. They're going to start you on that path. But the first step is for you to give us a call.
Joe, thank you so much. And Kevin, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, once again, the first step is you making that call today. Take action. This is your retirement. The number is 888-959-2743, or simply grab your smartphone, click on the QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. We're going to take a very short commercial break, but with our final pearl of wisdom, a lot of people in their 80s are talking about the importance of legacy planning and why you should be thinking about that. So this final pearl will be the legacy pearl. Stay tuned.
According to the Transamerica Retirement Survey, over 1/3 of American workers have already dipped into their retirement savings to handle day-to-day expenses, and nearly 40% have reduced their contributions. For those approaching retirement with significant assets, this may sound like someone else's problem, but it's a warning worth noting. Economic pressure doesn't discriminate. High net worth individuals are just as vulnerable to reacting emotionally during times of financial stress. The key is discipline and a plan that evolves with changing circumstances. Having a tax-aware, income-focused, and flexible strategy in place can help you avoid short-term mistakes that impact your long-term goals. Because real success in retirement isn't just about what you've saved, it's how you protect it and use it.
Welcome back to Mid-State Money Talk. My name is Cynthia DiFazio, joined today by Kevin Deitrich and Joe Deitrich, partners at First Choice Financial Services Incorporated. And we're talking all about pearls of wisdom, nuggets that people in their 80s are passing on to younger viewers. So thank you for being with us. This next one is the legacy pearl. When we talked about the beginning of the show, obviously time being the most important thing. Well, when people are in their 80s, they look back and they think, what impact do I want to leave on my loved ones, on the people I care about the most? What about my charities? So we're going to talk about the legacy pearl in this segment. And gentlemen, I love this so much because people do want to take care of future generations, or even charities, if you will. And so I want to ask you a question before we dive in. How would you say that older retirees truly redefine success later in life? How do they redefine succse?
Yeah. I think it's less about achievement and more about relationships.
Okay.
I think as you get older, I know as I've gotten older, I realized that life is not about the money I make or what I put in my 401k. In reality, life is about relationships.
Yes.
My family, my friends, my loved ones, relationships I built with coworkers, with Cynthia here.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
This is what's going to last forever.
Yes.
These relationships. Money can come and go. Money's just a tool. My dad says it all the time. Money does not care who it serves.
That's true.
Okay, so it's just a tool, and you can't take it with you. When you pass on this world, you can't take it with you. You can leave it to your beneficiaries with proper planning. You can leave it to your loved ones, your relationships that you've built all these years. That's what I think one of the pearls that they talk about is that it's so important that we have relationships, and it's
Yes.
they've spent all their life saving, sacrificing, contributing to their 401k, building this life, building this income net worth. But then it's really about relationships.
Yes.
Playing golf with their friends and family, playing pickleball now with their family. friends and
Yes, that's a
family.
big one.
That is a big
So
one. Yeah.
that's what the retirement's about.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the other defining factor at this stage becomes our health.
Yes.
Right. So sometimes a little overlooked, and sometimes it's not even a monetary thing. Now, making the right healthcare choices is very, very important from early on, as to making sure that you have the best care. But just simply healthy habits, taking care of yourself, creating the lifestyle, those unhurried mornings,
Yes.
being able to care for yourself so that you have the health longer, being able to be mobile as long as possible. This is an immense gift later in life.
Yes.
Not being able to go on the vacation with the family because you're not mobile enough to do that is not where you want to be. So take care of your health. Make smart choices, and this is part of the planning as well, is what kind of Medicare solutions and supplemental coverages do I need to make sure that I'm not skimping on my health care. So make sure you make those smart choices. Yeah.
Most definitely, Joe. Thank you for sharing that. Also, to our viewers at home that are perhaps in their 50s, Why is legacy planning important? Why should they be taking action today? If they're thinking, well, I'm going to think about that later on, I'm only in my 50s, why should they really think about it today? Kevin?
Yeah, let me give you a personal story. I've spent the last 15 years thinking I should do a will. I just did one. I'm almost 52 years of age. I, as a financial advisor, have procrastinated. You think anyone else can do that? Obviously.
Of course.
So if relationships is so important, having that, having a will in place is so important. Understanding where your money's going to go when you pass.
Yes.
Not to the IRS, you don't want that, but to your family, your friends, your loved ones, those who you've built relationships with.
Yes.
That's where you want it to go.
Yeah, and I hear a lot from people that they're in their 50s and 60s, they're dealing with aging parents.
Yes.
Right? And guess what? I've never heard somebody say, boy, they've just been too clear on what their intentions are. They just gave me too much information. They explained it too well, right? It's always like, it just got dropped on us. We didn't know idea what was going on. Siblings are fighting. There's legal battles. Like that's not something that you want. So, preparing yourself to be able to communicate what your wishes are, your legacy plans are, is super, super helpful. People come in and go, man, I'm so glad that my parents, prepaid for the funeral, or they had clear directions here, and it just went so much smoother.
Yes.
That's the type of pearl of wisdom that you want to pay attention to. Finding the ability to have clarity as to what you want for your legacy, and then executing on it. And that's part of the planning here at First Choice Financial Services as well. Part of the customized retirement plan. We're going to start preparing you for making those decisions and executing on those legacy goals. So please give us a call, 888-959-2743. The QR code is on the screen. Kevin was so good enough to be able to even model that for you as to how to do it. That was great. Look at that. Yep, there you go.
Yep, he's taking my job, taking my job.
That's right.
Absolutely. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much. It was wonderful. To our viewers at home, once again, Kevin is going to be the host next week. Stay tuned. But the number to call is 888-959-2743. We talked about pearls of wisdom in today's show, talking to people that were in their 80s and what kind of guidance they want to pass along to people that are younger and in their 50s. If any of these resonated with you today, take advantage of the consultation. The number is 888-959-2743, or simply grab your smartphone, click on the QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. Be safe, be happy, and be blessed. We look forward to seeing you back 1 week from today on First Choice Financial Services Mid-State Money Talk. Take care.